You're clearly very disappointed.
I'm very disappointed.
Hello, we're back again. So day 7, show 3 is done and dusted, and that was Sophie Duker Hag. This is at the Pleasance Courtyard beside. I did call it bedside earlier too, guy. we haven't got a venue called Bedside, and we'll go through when the show's on because they put extra shows on because this is clearly a really popular show.
Is that all sold out?
Yeah, currently the show that we've just been to is sold out right the way through the run, but we'll come back to that.
Gosh.
Not that that makes any difference to our review, I don't think, right. So do you want to read a little bit of
I will.
blurb?
So it's stand up. Sophie Duker, Best Newcomer Nominee 2019, returns to crack jokes, break hearts and roast gammon. As seen on Live at the Apollo, Taskmaster and practically everything else.
There was nothing about gammon.
No,
in the show.
Nothing about gammon. That's all it says.
Okay, maybe she's axed that bit then. What did you think?
Oh, it really wasn't my cup of tea.
Didn't think it was.
I mean, there was some sort of what I would term observational
Comedy.
comedy.
Was, yeah.
She talked a bit about her life and her grandmother, who they were sent to live with when she was about 8. Was that 7 or 8?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In Ghana.
And she referred to her as the hag, didn't she, at one point?
She did.
And that's obviously where the title comes from. And then she referred to herself as the hag later on, much later on at the end of the show. But that's all the reference that there was. Obviously, there was more about her grandmother, who sounded like a real character. And that was quite funny. And it started off, she was sort of talking about horoscopes and things. Anyway, and yeah, it was all quite funny. And then...
Probably about halfway through, it took a slightly different turn to more sexual content.
A lot.
Yeah. I mean, the impression I got was that you weren't necessarily enjoying it.
Well, I just can't see the point.
I mean, she had I liked her delivery to some, forget the content bit, but I did like her delivery. I obviously we like her. We've seen her on. I mean, we picked it because we'd seen her on Taskmaster. We'd enjoyed her. In that show. And she had a very good interaction with the audience. She asked certain questions of certain members of the audience. Very hot room again. Oh, very hot
tin can.
But that's that's part of the cost at the moment. I'm afraid it's hot here in Edinburgh. Yeah, I mean, I'm not hugely fond of.
I don't know how many times did she say 700 adult women.
No, adult lesbian women.
No, she just said adult women.
Did she?
Yeah.
But they were
because it was a cruise.
Yeah, and that was a large part of the show, was this cruise that she went on.
Which actually nothing happened particularly.
Well, I don't know, you've just given it all away.
Oh,
That's fine.
All
It's fine. It may be different tomorrow, or unless it's the same content. Anyway.
Anyway, it's very popular.
I mean, it really is popular. I mean, I think, to be fair, I think with the wrong audience. I think if you're sort of 20 to 35, it's,
And you want to talk about sex and all about it, and it's just not funny. And it's not funny when it was personal as well, because she was picking on people. The people that she asked them very intimate things. I mean, how do you respond to that?
You're clearly very disappointed.
I'm very disappointed.
We were looking forward to it. I mean,
anyway,
you've got to remember we are all fuddy-duddies.
Yeah, and I'm obviously completely out of step that people want, and just find it very funny.
It could be a generational thing. I think the younger generation want, certainly, do we know what the younger generation want? Not all of the younger generation want this, but there is probably a large amount of people out there that actually, for them, this is an absolutely brilliant, perfect show.
Yeah.
I just don't think it's. I don't think it's for us.
No, it wasn't.
And we're not. We're incredibly broad-minded. We've seen some incredibly challenging stuff, over the years. It was funny.
Yeah,
it was funny.
I did smile. Much more in the first half than the second half.
It's not the best comedy show that I've been to. Really.
I can't even repeat what she asked that gentleman. Sorry, I should shut up.
No, you don't shut up, because it's don't, because
it's.
I can't remember what she actually asked him, but
I'll tell you
tell me
afterwards.
afterwards.
But I cannot.
Jane can't repeat it, so that shows you the sort of where we were going with it.
I'm just disappointed, and I just feel really out of step if that's the way that stand-up comedy is going. And every time we've seen.
But Jane, we've seen some absolutely brilliant comedians.
We
here
have,
at the Fringe,
who
don't
exactly don't.
But granted, we haven't seen as much this year. But thinking back to last year, we saw some absolutely brilliant comedy that didn't go anywhere near this sort of.
Exactly.
And I was thinking,
the
first person I'm thinking of is Troy Hawke, amongst with a whole. You could argue the same with Trevor Locke and people like that. There is no reason for it to. We've seen lots of female comedians over the probably last 10 years, and who basically tell us their sex life. I don't want to know about other people's sex life, really, if I'm honest. That's not. That shouldn't be the basis of a comedy show.
And there's an awful lot that appear, though very, very minimal, experience of this year, but right, okay.
So how many stars?
Well,
be honest.
I didn't enjoy it at all. So, well, no, that's not true.
So why are you going to score it?
Well, I enjoyed half of it.
Okay.
So for the half I enjoyed, we'll give it a 3. For the half I didn't, I'll give it a 2.
Right, I'm going to give it a 3. So it's a 3-star show. I think the problem here is we're not the demographic, we're not the audience. And I have seen some. I have seen some incredibly challenging comedy over the years.
Because you do, yes. You have.
I'm thinking of Jerry Sadowitz, who I think is brilliant, but I shouldn't be laughing at that sort of stuff. But I'm sorry, this wasn't in that sort of class. I know he does the magic as well, but there are other people out there that are phenomenally challenging comedians, and this didn't come anywhere near close for me.
Yeah, well, I haven't got that experience,
No. So it's a 3-star. Okay. Now, the problem you've got is currently on the Fringe website, it's on until the 28th. I said it's at the B-side, didn't I? 7:30. They're all sold out. They're all red. Now, it may be that you can turn up on the day. Some of the venues are holding back 4 tickets, I think it is, or a few tickets. It may be that you can rock up at the box office, and there's maybe been some returns. I don't quite know how that works, but you may be able to get to see it. There are extra shows as well. There are extra shows on the 12th, but that's also sold out. That's at 11 o'clock at night. There's also another one on the 27th, which is at 10:40. So they may be putting more shows on, but clearly she is the hot ticket,
Yeah.
you know, of this Fringe. It's also worth saying that we generally don't go and see people that are on telly.
No, we don't.
You know, that's a choice that we tend to make because we like to see the sort of smaller stuff to some extent. The people that, you know, we much rather go and see something where, you know, there's only 4 people in the audience because they haven't got the big budget to actually be able to promote it like the sort of the bigger artists, you know. And you see some absolutely wonderful, you know, shows at the Fringe like that, you know. And we've been, as you know, we've been reviewing those shows, really, those smaller shows. So I mean, this is probably the biggest person that we're going to go and see, I think.
I mean, also, it wasn't particularly big. I
The
mean,
venue wasn't particularly big, no.
which makes us think that she's become quite popular since Taskmaster.
Since booking it.
So
Since her management booked it.
So, which is probably another reason why it's all sold out, because it isn't particularly big.
No, it wasn't.
I mean, it is.
It's hard to say how many people were there.
Yeah.
It was sold out. It was full. I mean, one guy left probably about halfway through. I don't know whether he was feeling ill or whether he just.
He stumbled out of the door, followed by
somebody else.
His wife.
Oh, right, okay.
I mean, it was a woman. It was a man that left, and she just looked back, and because I saw her face. And she looked quite concerned. So
maybe
I think
it was an incredibly hot room. I didn't feel great in there, to be fair. I felt a bit sort of spacey, but you know, not enough to want to leave.
No.
You know, and I did enjoy the show, but it wasn't. You know, I don't really want to hear about, you know, ladies' sex lives, if I'm honest.
No.
It's just not. It's not what, you know, I'm interested in, or you're interested. I know you're not interested in that, you know. And it's not the first time. We've already said it. We've seen this time and time again over the years that we've been coming. You know, disappointing. I think, really.
Yeah.
So sorry, Sophie, if you ever see this, but it wasn't quite for us. But clearly, we are out of step on this one, because if you get to see it and she sounds like your sort of thing. Go for it. You know, I should say how much the tickets are, but it might not tell me. It just says no tickets are available, so I can't even tell you how much the tickets were.
Oh well.
Did you see on there?
In here, they were. As ever, certain dates were £14 and some dates are 12. But it's really complicated to tell you.
Yeah. So anyway, about 15, less than 15 quid.
Yeah.
Anything else?
No.
We'll see you later on for more. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.
Bye.